example, I'm going to show you how to use arrays in a different way. We're going to be using arrays for calculations, but we're not going to necessarily be stepping through every element of the array every time. So let me just run the program and give you an idea of what it does. So here I have a menu. I used an array to create this menu. I'll show you how to do that. But say, let's see, I'm going to ship with FedEx and my package is 100 pounds, and I'm going to ship with USPS and my package is going to be 455 pounds. And let's see, I think I'm going to ship something with Yellow Freight and that will only be 10 pounds, and then I'm going to quit. Press any key to continue, and it's showing me the total. So how much I spent in USPS shipping cost, FedEx, UPS, Yellow Freight. So we're using arrays a lot of different ways here. We have one that's going to store the totals, how much we spent for shipping for each of the 4 types. We have one that's storing the cost per pound. We're charging 8 cents a pound for the first method, USPS, 12 cents a pound for FedEx, 10 cents a pound for UPS, and 15 cents a pound for Yellow Freight. So these guys are really parallel arrays. In the first element of the totals array, I will store the cost for shipping USPS. So 0 here, 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 all refer to the same thing, USPS. The second element of this one, and this one, and this one are all FedEx. This last one has 5 things in it. I'm going to use this for my menu because I have quit here, and there's not 5 in these 2 because I'm not storing anything for quit. So I have I have an array and a function to store the names of my menus. And this is how it's going to work. So I call display menu. I send to it method names, which is this string. And I send to it 5, which is the number of elements in that particular array. So down here, when I called this function, the memory location for method names was sent to this item name, created, well, it didn't really create a new array. It just gave that same array a different name because it's the same place in memory. And the item count was also sent there. So here, I started just going through every element of the array like we did in the last example, and printing out the first element of the array, and then the second element, and then the third. I also wanted those numbers there, so I wanted to show as 1 period USPS, 2 period USPS. And I have this variable x, but it's starting at 0. So the computer starts counting from 0, people start counting from 1. So we changed it, instead of saying x, which would have showed up as 0 USPS, 0 FedEx, 0 USPS, 1 FedEx, 2 UPS. Now it's going to show as 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was my standard for loop to display this. So I get my option, I air check my option, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get the weight of the package, I air check the weight of the package to make sure it's greater than 0. And then here I'm accessing the array based on what the user entered. So if they entered 1, then I'm going to use this, and I'm going to store it here. So I'm going to use the 8 cents a pound, multiply it by the package weight and store the result in the first element of the array. If they entered 1, I'm going to use these guys and put in the second element of the array. And again, I'm doing this shifting with my subscripts. I'm shifting it this time. I'm subtracting 1 to shift it from what the user sees to what the computer needs. So if the user entered 1 for the menu option, the computer needs to know that that's really element 0. So we have to shift our subscripts back and forth between what the human wants to see and what the computer needs to see. And then at the end, we display everything. We step through that array, both of the arrays, where we stored the totals, where we have the names, and this is your standard for loop where you process the elements in the array in order. But where to go? But here, I'm actually avoiding having to do a for or an if statement or a switch statement. Before, when we did something like this, we would say if shipping cost is equal to 1, or not if shipping cost, if menu option is equal to 1, do the math, else if it's equal to 2, else if it's equal to 3, else if it's equal to 4, else if it's equal to 5. This eliminates the need to do that. So it condenses your code greatly.